Who's hosting this show? Hi, this is Amy Lewis.
Amy or makeup.
This is Engineers Unplugged. Hi, this is Amy Lewis, and we're back with Engineers Unplugged. We've got Nils and Stace, and they're going to be talking about how data becomes information. I saw them whiteboarding. It looks pretty interesting. So Nils, tell us what's up.
Yeah. Thanks, Amy. How do we turn data into information? And specifically, if you're working in networking and if you own and operate a network infrastructure, then the big question is always, how do you manage all of this and how do you operate this later on? Now, last time that I was on this show, we talked a little bit about how the application world and the network world have to come closer together. And what we did was come up with this thing called affinity, where we describe what an underlying infrastructure should do. And what we've done together with Stace is taken that, together with Open Daylight and Stace, we've taken that to the next level. And essentially what we've done, and I'll just draw this a little bit while we're talking here, we've taken an infrastructure that has physical switches, has storage, it has compute, it has virtual switches, and what we've done on top of that is essentially created, with the Open Daylight project, we've created, in essence, a single point of contact where this heterogeneous infrastructure can be controlled with information that is put down into the infrastructure using affinities. I'll ask Stace to then sort of talk about how Open Daylight is a very important thing for him, and in order to essentially turn the data that's then generated underneath into information.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, so Open Daylight gives us the ability to actually have a central point of management and control, and of obviously the data for topology. So being a network engineer, I really wanted just all my topology, all my data in one place, and that's what Open Daylight will give us. So what we do is, using the Northbound API, we hook in our application, puts in the topology, the data, and then we give the user a topology, a complete topology in 3D. So we've done that for scale. Visio doesn't really cut it over about 100 nodes or so, and 2D actually gets very, very spaghetti-like. So what we do is we use the Open Daylight data using the Northbound, consistent, clear data, and we give a great visibility for that.
So it sounds like Open Daylight brings you sort of a benefit that didn't exist before. Are you also going to do that for things like OpenStack?
Open Daylight's just one part of cloud, so obviously we've got OpenStack. Let's put it in here, OpenStack. OpenStack for us gives us the ability to have that one point, well not one point, but gives the ability to correlate the compute, the storage, and obviously the network. Because really what I want as a network engineer, I want to have endpoint to endpoint. I want to have all the stats on that path. I also want to have all the application data as well, and that's the nirvana, and that's where cloud, Open Daylight, and OpenStack, that's what we're going to be getting. So,
yeah. So what we've done together with Open Daylight, so Open Daylight, our physical infrastructure and Affinity, essentially strung together a heterogeneous infrastructure in sort of a data center environment. We're taking Affinity relational information. So Affinity is, think of it as a way to describe the relationship of the intended way the infrastructure should work. So we've taken those Affinity definitions, put them through Open Daylight, and essentially control Open vSwitch with that, as well as the Plexi infrastructure underneath. So with that, we have an abstract piece of information that goes down into the infrastructure and makes changes. And then on the way back, we have information that is now sort of seen from one single pane of glass. So I think we're making reasonable progress on this front. I'd say, what else is missing from your perspective? What else could we do with Open Daylight and Cisco and others on this?
more data. I want as much data in a central point that I can hook into easily as possible using REST APIs. And obviously, your product, Plexi, gives that affinity data, which is relationships. We want relationships. And manageability as well, actually. I want to be able to pull from the data source, but I also want to be able to push to the data source.
So I think the last bit of this, I mean, when you said we want more data, the thing that immediately jumped into mind was that with Open Daylight right now, we have a single pane of glass sort of pushing down into the infrastructure. What we also want to do is get a way to generate more affinity data, and this is why we've been working together with Puppet and other Puppet and Chef, and soon with Ansible and Salt, more DevOps systems that know about why applications or how they are formulated, and use that to drive the infrastructure underneath and essentially cross this chasm between how applications are intended to run and how we actually get to deal with this on a daily basis in a complex infrastructure underneath. Are you also going to use information that we would be able to bring in then?
Yeah, so any kind of data I can pull, I want. And of course the user needs, so they can tell what the applications, how they're working, and how they're going to affect the users.
Excellent. So, I'm very excited about sort of making this entire infrastructure end-to-end happen inside of a data center. Stay tuned for sort of more information on how we actually take data to information. And yeah, it's great stuff. Look up the open source repositories for this.
Okay, I don't think we've ever had a guest on that wanted more big data. But you know what I want? I want more unicorns. So it's unicorn time. Go, go, go. Just because it's now with double unicorns doesn't mean we don't need more. Oh, wait. What's going on here, Nils?
I've drawn 4 of them, but it's in the distance because unicorns are actually scared of people, so they don't usually show up.
What is? As you can see, what I've drawn is a pig with a big nose.
I give up. This is amazing. It was really good information. Thank you so much, Stace. Thank you, Nils. These unicorns are going into the distance. So we'll see you next time on Engineers Unplugged.